Welcome to this ninth medical biology lesson. Nice that you're taking the class. We are going to talk about blood that flows through our body. Blood consists largely of water containing many blood cells and other substances. Approximately 7% of the total body weight consists of blood. We have about 4 to 6 liters of blood in our body. This varies per person. Women have slightly less blood in the body than men. A large part of the blood consists of water, but contains more. What exactly is in our blood? To begin with, it consists of blood plasma and blood cells within it. If you put the blood in a separation device, a centrifuge, the blood cells sink and the plasma floats to the top. Blood plasma consists largely of water containing all kinds of substances such as proteins and albumin, but also electrolytes such as potassium, sodium, and blood sugar, antibodies that you have produced, enzymes, hormones, all substances that the body cells need. You can find all this in the blood plasma. And of the 4 to 6 liters of blood in your body, just over half is plasma. And if you look at the other part, a little less than half, those are the blood cells. We have red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. During the lesson about the immune system, we already talked about white blood cells. We will continue with this in this lesson. We'll start with the red blood cells first. Billions of them flow through your body, and they have a very important function. They extract oxygen from the lungs for all body cells. These cells need oxygen to burn blood sugar, which produces energy. So we need red blood cells to generate energy, and the waste of oxygen is carbon dioxide. So when the sugar is burned, you get waste that has to be removed from the body. The red blood cells return this gas to the lungs so that we can exhale it. Red blood cells live for about 3 to 4 months. And in the lesson about cells, I already mentioned that red blood cells have no nucleus. All body cells have a cell nucleus containing a copy of your DNA, who you are, but red blood cells and platelets do not. We discussed the function of white blood cells in the lesson about the immune system. These white blood cells protect us against pathogens, also called germs, also called microorganisms. These are bacteria, viruses, fungi, single-celled parasites. These are all organisms that can make a person sick, and these white blood cells protect you from the enemy. I sometimes call them the white soldiers. Don't say you got this from me, otherwise they'll think I'm crazy. But a soldier has his own task. One is leading the front line, the other is in a tank. And you have soldiers who are paramedics, helping the wounded. The same is actually with the white blood cells. First, the enemy must be recognized, for example, the bacteria or virus. Then the blood cells must know how they are going to eliminate the enemy. Then you have white blood cells that ensure that they are killed. And you have white blood cells that clean things up. The white blood cells ensure that microorganisms cannot make us sick. And so be careful with these white blood cells. Live healthy. They only last a few days. So take your vitamins every day. Exercise every day. Enough fluid, but also enough rest and sleep. These white blood cells must remain healthy. If you party for 3 days, little sleep, only alcohol, you're going to get a sore throat or an earache. Then you get something. And then we have the platelets. These ensure blood clotting. The blood in your body should not be too thin. Otherwise, you will only suffer from nosebleeds and other bleeding. But it should not be too thick either, because then you will get clots that clog blood vessels. The platelets ensure that the blood can flow properly through the blood vessels. And when there is a wound, you have bleeding. These platelets work hard to ensure that the bleeding is stopped. Platelets live for about 1 to 2 weeks. And just like red blood cells, they have no nucleus, no copy of your DNA. Blood cells therefore have a limited lifespan. The platelets live for 1 to 2 weeks, the red blood cells live for 3 to 4 months, and the white blood cells only a few days. And where are new cells formed? New cells must be continuously created. This happens in your bones, the flat bones, such as the skull, sternum, and shoulder blade, and in the long bones. In these bones, you will find red bone marrow where stem cells are formed. And once the stem cells have been formed, they start to specialize. For example, if you have inflammation somewhere in your body, you will get more white blood cells. All blood cells have their own task, which work together to protect the body, but most stem cells become red blood cells. Trillions of red blood cells flow through the blood vessels. Thank you again for your attention. Nice that you're taking the lessons. We will return to these topics very often, especially when we discuss the pathology later. I hope it was clear. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. See you again soon.